Well, that was a trip.
Welcome everybody to an on-time episode of LangTime Studio where we have to leave early. Anyway, let me see how we're framed real quick before you do that. I just want to...
I think we look
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Jesse's going to do some stuff. And as you know, when Jesse can't, actively object, I can say or do whatever I want. So let's start with Jesse's social security number, which is actually not the same as mine, which surprised me.
But is it the same as Minnie's? That's all we care about.
Oh, that's a good question. Minnie, pop your social security number in the chat and let's find out. It spreads. Actually, for those who are on Discord, you'll see I've added a number of stickers and emoji recently. And there was a recommendation that we add some stickers that say stuff, which means that Jessie actually has to do it. She has to make some artwork for this. And so the artwork that Jessie needs to make is something that says stay grammar.
Oh.
Something that says Oza Yamosa.
Obviously.
And then obviously...
But words are not going to work well with stickers, and you know that, right?
No, they'll work very well. And then...
no, because they won't be big enough.
Oh, no, they will be big enough. You're thinking emoji. Stickers are different. And then, of course, also our famous hashtag that we started, that started the entire LangTime experience, which was love, booze, money, drugs. That was really, that's the most important part of what we do. Jonathan is going to contribute some artwork too. That's an idea.
I would love that.
I still have no idea how to use stickers, or when to. We only have 15 of them, and only temporarily, only while we're boosted. I think we're going to lose this ability the second we're not boosted. So we're just going to get
I don't think you lose the boost.
15 in. Oh yeah, you do.
What?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's only for a month. And I know this because when we started at Discord, my friend Ash, he gave us a boost and it lasted for a month. Allows you to do animated emoji, by the way. So, if anybody can do that, animate some emoji. Anyway, so but yeah, I was very serious. We're gonna have to skedaddle right away, just sharp as a mouse's tail knife, because we are headed someplace that's 2 hours and 20 minutes away. I haven't tested it in traffic, and I know that traffic is just going to get worse. So let's see, it's 2 hours and 34 minutes now, and it's 2 p.m. It's probably going to get spicier as the olive ages, as they say. And so we'll have to leave sharply, which makes it a real shame that we started 4 minutes late today.
And that I am doing 8 million things while we start.
Precisely on time, Jonathan. Precisely on time. Birthday pizza. Guess whose 17th birthday it is today? Ragdoll's son.
Oh, that was on my list of things to do, and I haven't looked up yet. But that was on my birthday, was shout out to Ragdoll's son.
Well, congratulations.
Whose birthday is very soon.
Speaking of vegan birthday pizza, we had some vegan ice cream yesterday that was just stellar. And I'm going to drop this product placement in there in hopes that they'll just give us free stuff, because I have more Twitter followers than they do. So, yeah,
nice.
10 times more. So, it's called Brave Robot, and it's vegan, but it's dairy, which is just brilliant. So, it's actual
bizarre.
Dairy. Very bizarre. It's through a molecular process where they create whey from plant fiber. So no cows are involved, but it is actual dairy. And so it tastes just like ice cream. It doesn't taste like gelato or not gelato. It doesn't taste like sorbet or anything else. It tastes like actual ice cream. This is a game changer. I'm in on the ground floor. Send us free stuff.
No.
This is not paid product placement because we haven't been paid yet. Anyway.
But yes, Brave Robot.
Oh, Jonathan, no. Get in on that. So there was a Sprouts nearby, and it wasn't a coupon, but it was just buy one, get one free, and it's like, come on, buy one, get one free. Oh, Minnie is here. Well, Minnie, everybody's waiting. Drop that Social Security number of yours. That was what we were discussing at the top of the hour. So just at your own convenience, you can do one number at a time. But do that before the show is done. Anyway, let's jump into not that. Let's jump into the poll.
Yes.
The poll.
We shall.
I'm just going to do is I'm just going to pull up the yes. All right. I'm just going to pull up the options.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was close, and I was going to make a note about that because I thought it was tied for a bit. So I hope it's not anymore.
It is not, but it is very, very, very close.
Okay.
Go ahead and tell us about option A, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you that it was a sore loser.
Okay.
But go ahead and tell them what practically nobody, I think one person wanted this.
Yeah, so I know that somebody said that they really wanted this like in chat or something, but it was tremendously unpopular. But basically, we were trying to figure out how to do our polypersonal agreement. And so what we did, sorry, I'm just looking at something. We don't use that camera up there, so I should just turn it off.
No, you should.
So I should just turn it off. Right?
Go for it, but it's not like...
Okay, I'm
not like it matters right now.
I'm afraid if I don't do it now, I'm going to forget. But whatever. Everybody else can remind me. Because, the camera's running the whole time, so it's just... I don't know, I feel like it's just wasted power. But anyway, unless you want two different shots of those, two different angles.
And who doesn't want that?
You could have a producer switching from one angle to the other, depending on which is more dramatic. All right. But we have three persons that we're marking on the verb, first, second, and third. Not number, we're doing that separately. We've already discussed that with both plurality, kind of a thing that form of the verb that gets marked for plurality of any of its arguments, and also for pluractionality. So it's just first, second, and third person, and subject, object, and direct object, and indirect object. So one option with that is to just put all three in order. And so like it would just be, the consonant followed by a vowel. The vowel would be determined by how close it is to the speaker. So you could actually have some variability in there, at least at this stage. And you can just stack them right up. And so I put together these examples on the screen there. I hope that you can see them. There we can. Oh, we don't have LexSearch yet. Well, if we need it, we'll get it. But if you can see it on the screen, we use the verb give, which is ditransitive, meaning that you could actually have, and these are all high tone, you could actually have a sentence, we wa watching soup. He gives it to them.
Yes, we could.
Which I know is, you probably love it.
No, I didn't.
Plenty of your W's.
Yeah, love the W's, but nothing else.
It's really got a kind of a Ween Hay quality to it. Yep.
Yeah.
We wa watching soup. Yeah, it's too much. All right. Anyway, evidently everybody else decided it was way too much, and so the maximally explicit option was destroyed. So we're going to look at the other two options.
I'm not going to tell you who wins until you give them some information on them. Then I'm going to tell you who won.
I intend. Okay, so...
Because it's, by the way, one vote. So when I say it was almost tied, one vote. So we're going to find out.
I didn't care, by the way, before I actually started doing this. Now I care a whole lot. What?
Which one? Which one do you want to win?
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, go for it. Go for it.
All right. So then the next option was separated pronouns. It's kind of an in-between option. Actually, I'll do monosyllabic first for option C. This was to make sure that it was always monosyllabic. There's a lot of fun stuff going on here in the monosyllabic one because where it's just like two arguments, the second argument serves as a coda, which changes the tone of the previous vowel and also sometimes changes the quality of the previous vowel because there's a W as one of the arguments, right? And then with three of them, you often get a type of thing because W can serve as a complex consonant cluster. However, glides get deleted after glides and nasals, so anything that starts with nga, wa, just reduces to nga, and everything that starts with wa reduces to just wa, which makes it a lot more pronounceable, but just a lot more opaque. And as we fill out an entire chart, which we will do with the winner, it may be the case that some of the cells are identical, but hey, I think that's great. Muffin procession. Man, you ever got one of those headaches where it starts off hurting one way and gets really extreme, and then it shifts the type of hurting it does to a different type of hurting? It's kind of like a phantasmagoria of pain.
Maybe.
Yes.
What, is that what's going on right now in your body?
Oh yeah, that's what I am laboring under at the moment. It is just it's like a dance of fire in my brain.
I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, did you finish going through the two?
No, now I'm going to talk about B, separated pronouns, which is in between these two. And this was just like all we are doing is making sure the pronouns are separate from one another. But for like our we wa wachisu, that becomes we wo chisu, because all that we cared about is separating the pronouns from each other, not separating the pronouns from the verb. And so then they can serve as codas, and it does shorten things up a little bit, but not completely. It's kind of a delicate balance between A and C. Anyway, so those are the three options. Yeah, I know, it's the new Safari, it just does it by itself. It's something that is coming from the website itself. It can specify what color that is.
I would also like to take a moment to say, Yuan, if you're here, happy birthday to you. It's yesterday. And then tomorrow is it is tomorrow in Ragdoll's time zone.
Yes.
So today for Ragdoll, for us, tomorrow is her son's birthday.
So tomorrow and Yuansterday.
Yes, that's
right.
exactly it.
Okay, so those were the three
shout-out.
options that we were deciding between, and now we see if our patrons chose the correct option, because there is a correct one.
What's the correct one, David?
You tell me. Tell me what the winner was, because that was the correct one, because I believe in our patrons.
Okay. By a margin of 1 vote.
1 vote. Get out there and vote, people. The winner is South Park. Community reference. Sorry, okay.
The winner is C, monosyllabic.
See? Told you.
So there you go.
I believe in our patrons.
Yeah, 1 vote.
If it had gone the other way, though, I still would have gone back and voted. Oh. Okay, hey, does anybody remember that Disney song, Happy Birthday? So there have been several different happy birthdays. There's, of course, the traditional Happy Birthday to you, right?
Sure.
Then there's Happy Birthday by the Beatles. Sammy Hagar has a song called Happy Birthday. And then there's, no, that's a different one. But there's a song that was Disney that was Happy Birthday Happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
No.
You don't know that one?
Is it in a Disney movie?
No, it was on a record that I got. It wasn't Disco Duck, because Disco Duck was its own thing, but it featured a lot of the Disney characters dressed up in disco outfits.
No.
No?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but...
Had it in like 83 or 84. Anyway, monosyllabic agreement. All right.
Yes. Oh, and the Beatles song is just birthday.
Yeah, but they do say happy birthday to you.
You've been
don't
cupcaked.
Don't they? Also, it has the most epic drum solo ever. You know the song? the drum solo? Do you know the song?
No.
Today is your birthday. That song? You don't know?
Oh, I think I've heard that.
Yeah, and then the drum solo is just like...
You know what I'm excited about?
Yeah.
The option that I wanted to win the entire time. I didn't just care about it today. Won.
Oh, yeah?
I told you this when you were making it, that I really liked the monosyllabic, that I thought it came together nicely, and that I thought it would give a nice sort of flair, and I really liked the thwa chisu. I like the thwa agreement. And the through is going to be difficult for me, but I like it. And so anyway, I thought it was a really cool way of incorporating it all while not adding super big syllable structures, because on top of this we still have suffixes to put on the ends of the verbs, including that reduplication and including any sort of, what are we calling it? Are we calling it the plurality marker? Pluractionality / it could be plural. Because we're adding more to the verb, all that is to say, I thought that both the other options, especially option A, was just over specified, especially given the fact that we can specify some of those arguments outside this in the sentence structure. So, monosyllabic was my vote the entire time.
All right. Well,
one.
Cheers to me. Colleague. All right. So,
I'm hungry.
I mean, what can you do?
I don't know.
I bet you wish you would have had some delicious ratatouille today, huh?
Yeah, and I'm thinking somebody ate it all.
All of it. All of it in its entirety.
That's okay. I'll survive.
I even rinsed out the little bowl before I put it in the dishwasher so that you couldn't even, lick the residue off.
Side note, David had ratatouille for the first time.
That's wonderful.
So we're ready then to talk more about the verbs.
Well, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually
say this, make this.
Yes.
Make it a reality.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to assume, for the time being.
Oh, negation was another thing we were going to incorporate.
Yeah.
This is like it would have been way too much to have multisyllabic prefixes for these.
Yeah. Okay, so what was I going to say? So we're going to do these out, and we are going to assume that all our verbs begin with a consonant for the time being.
For the time being, and I believe that is true for the time being.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So.
But also I would say that these prefixes are complex enough that an epenthetic L would be called for any verb that starts with a vowel. Unless it's a very, we can talk about that later.
Yeah. Oh, ratatouille, but made by one of our mice. That has to be a drawing we do. Okay, so, these are first person subjects, so they're all going to be E, and so that's that. And this one is that, I'm guessing?
I put down our...
Show me to the Smoky Mountains way down south. All right. And this one is you. No.
So that would be I. I was seeing if I could map it to the ones we already have, but we...
Of course, and then also, of course, ratatouille would be pronounced with an R by the rats. So, wonderful. And we're going to call this, it's going to be either wa or we, depending. And this one is going to be wa or we. And this one cried wee, 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 wee all the way home. There we go.
So I just want to make sure I'm on board here. And not by on board, I mean like that I'm following.
Got it.
And so the reason TS angma becomes phi low tone is because the TS becomes theta, of course.
Yep.
We're using the proximal because this is a first person, and we had said we're going to use that eval when that happens.
You always hear yourself.
And then the coda would be the angma, which is why it takes the low tone, because it's going to drop the coda, but then also take a low tone from it. Whereas the W is that an IW diphthong that got changed over to an E?
Correct.
Okay, so that's actually a diphthong, and IW becomes E, but low tone. All right, so then we move over to second person, and we get na instead of ni. And we're using ah instead of E because
the second person is always going to be far from you.
Okay.
Or, I mean, it could be near you, but it's not nearer than you are.
Okay. But it's like you kick me, you do something to me, so wouldn't that necessitate nearness?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So why then is wa we an option for third person?
From one to another, one is closer to you than the other is. And I'm going to throw out the possibility of a rare, not one.
Okay.
Oh, you missed a lot anyway. Minnie gave out her social security number. Do it again, Minnie.
But to do... Okay, so like one of our verbs that we actually have right now.
Uh-huh.
We don't have really, I guess dodge is going to be like you dodged me.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you dodged me, but he dodged me could be we.
No.
When would it ever be we then? For third person, like he X'd me.
Good point. Yeah. This one's not possible.
Okay, so then the same is going to be true in the second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the only time we're using the E is when first person subject, right? The eval? Because I thought it was going to be wa and or the in other cases.
No. It's about nearness.
Okay. So we can specify nearness if it's two arguments not dealing with us. Looking specifically now at you dodged him.
Yeah, like that one, you want to do that, but it's not like that distinction will probably die out. the third person with third object, that distinction will probably stay in.
Okay,
Even though
so
it doesn't need to in this person.
so like he dodged her, you could specify whether the one doing the dodging is closer or further away from you.
Yes, implying that the other is the opposite.
Okay. I like that. I don't understand though why you dodged him would be any different than he dodged me or...
Because it's whether the person you're talking about is closer to you than the person they're dodging.
Okay.
In which case... Yeah, I mean, you'd want to say this is another one that it could be an option. But I'm gonna tag these as less than necessary. So I'm gonna put them in. Oh, don't do that. What'd I do? Oh
We did a
man!
border.
Come on. Okay. So I'm gonna put this in. Well, I'll put it in danger red. Because those may drop out as being unnecessary, but they are technical distinctions that can be made. So, for example, like, and they may forget what those distinctions are. So I think a really good analog would be thou in English, where originally thou was singular and you was plural. Now nobody knows that, and so basically we just kind of hold on to this vestigial pronoun thou as kind of being formal or old-timey. So same kind of thing might happen here with these two.
Right.
Yes, Holy Grail is the one with the bring out your dead scene. That's where King Arthur meets not Sir Robin, the one who is intelligent. You know, that's where what happens after the bring out your dead scene is the witch trial.
Okay, so now I'm on board with everything else going on. We have wa high tone because the TS leaves a high tone as a coda as it disappears. We've got
Not Sir Galahad.
either wa or we low tone because the angma leaves low tone as it disappears. And then we have either W-A-W, which creates wo, low tone, or W-I-W, which creates wu, high tone.
Yeah, and also just a minor, tiny, baby little phonetic note. W followed by U becomes the upside down H.
Yeah.
But we just spell it W. U. So wo versus U.
Yes.
Very French.
And
And by the
I
way,
need to work on that pronunciation.
this W doesn't become a V because it's only proto-W-O that becomes vo. Proto-W-A always stays wa, and this is proto-W-A-W, so it will remain wo.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And to get around the woo, that's one of the reasons we had that little sound change later to the because it was really hard to say. But we couldn't change it because it was
So we couldn't change re, but we do change all instances of W-U because the W-O-U, which would become woo, W goes to V in front of O anyway.
Yeah.
So it's
woo,
always woo.
yeah.
Sir Bedivere, thank you, Minnie.
Okay. Woo, we made it through one.
All right, that's one. Now we are going to add the third elements. Here we go. Okay. I don't remember how these work.
Okay, well let's do some backwards. I give it to you would become toi. So how did we do that? This is the second chart. I subject, it direct object. So yeah, that became toi.
That one's easy.
Low tone. Shoot,
Yeah,
that was
one,
an easy one.
Yeah, that one's
Okay.
easy. The hard ones are what's like, what do you do with
Oh, sorry.
nah?
So sorry, no, this should. Just a second. And then okay, down in I gave it to them, which is in the next table. The TSWW became tu.
Also, another rare one.
Well, that is also the agreement that would be I give it to them, which is in the next table. A third indirect object.
Okay, so this one's going to be thwo.
No. According
Or-
to our poll.
Well, it's gonna depend.
Okay.
It's gonna depend.
We'll get back to that. You give it to me.
Oh yeah, no, it would be three, because the thing that you're giving is always going to be closer to you than the ones you're giving it to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it would always be three. Okay?
Okay, you gave it to me. So you subject, third person object, first person. So that chart right there is
Uh-huh.
not low tone. And then he gives it to
Yeah,
them.
it's got to be.
We did woe down here for www. Woe low tone. I feel like I just need to type out.
This one could also be that. Yeah.
Ooh.
So that would be a very rare one, I think. So that's why I put it in red, because it's hard to imagine a giver being further away from the speaker than the thing being given. But notice what happened. So there was a suggestion last week that we could just drop the indirect object when they were the same. And look at the agreement for this one. So www and ww are the same.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool. But actually the only reason that they were the same is because w drops after w. It's funny. And for the same reason, this should be the same as well. Yeah.
So why is the first one not the same then?
Because the sequence th what is allowed.
And that was only when the direct and indirect object were the same. Is that correct?
No.
Oh, sorry. What I meant was we were only going to have that.
Oh, the original suggestion?
Yeah.
Yeah, the original suggestion, yes, that was
Okay.
it. In this case, no, it's just a pure accident of phonology. If we did something different with a word that starts with WW, then like we turn that into V or something. Yeah, I agree, Megan, and it's just going to get mousier and mousier. As we have to ask ourselves what we do with a word that begins with nga, nga.
cry.
Snap. Yeah.
As we're staring at what to do with the, like this one right there.
Also a word that begins with what's-a, tsa, and a word that begins with mtsa. Because remember, we're trying to get these monosyllabic. We really picked the low-hanging fruit, didn't we?
But wouldn't these, the two TS's in a row, negate each other essentially? Engmat. Like, wouldn't that also just be like nga and wa?
Sorry. Wait, what are you talking about? What do you mean?
We had these two right here. Oops, I didn't mean to accidentally almost move it. But just those two boxes.
No, because we're not doing that.
We're not doing what?
They don't negate each other. Right?
Not negate each other, but like.
Oh, they just don't make any sense? Like
Yeah,
you
'cause
give
you
me
would-
to me, and he gives me to me. Yeah, I guess that doesn't make sense, does it? Because there can only be one me. Yeah. So then.
Well, but even then, like, can you ever give me or us? Because this could also be us. So, like, technically, me to us could be different. But
Yeah, you're right.
But like, how is that possible?
You give me to us.
I mean, I feel like in these indirect object situations, any first and second person object is going to be so rare that they would have to say it differently. Because it's like it's not I'm giving something to you, it's like I'm literally giving you to somebody else.
Right, I'm sorry, this is supposed to be my tone. Of course.
And so it's like, I guess how theoretically especially, I don't know how many dative verbs we're even going to have beyond the classic give. We're going to have very few. But like, even if we turn some verbs into dative constructions like slide, the object is most likely going to be third person. I guess I could technically slide you to them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because like we haven't talked about reflexives yet. That is where, you know, where these things would show up. So we could just, you'll notice that I automatically got rid of the reflexive ones.
Yeah.
And so we could just treat these as reflexives as well.
This could be bi-transitive verbs, which are semantically useful to have one half person pronouns.
What do you mean, Beatrice? Can you explicate? Yeah, I think these need to be grayed out. That's nonsensical.
Do you mind if I make the tables more explicit?
You mean a different color?
No, by typing in a little like actual sentence, like so people who are asking questions.
No.
Like that's what that prefix would mean.
Okay. Yes. I mean, I don't like it, but I will allow it.
For people asking questions, I feel like, and it doesn't have to stay, this table doesn't have to stay.
Yes. Okay. Now, these would also. I mean, this, if you're talking about two different U's, that could make more sense. But even so, that's extraordinarily rare. Extraordinarily rare. But, not with the third person. So I guess it's really good that those third persons were W's. Even though I hated it. Well done.
But that, Jonathan, is there supposed to be an actual stage of the proto-lang where these are pronounced as clusters, or are these more hypothetical and they would have had an epenthetic, like schwa or something?
No, clusters. And we still have the cluster. That's why we have thwa. Thwa and thu.
And I would like to point out some people like my little glossing here, so I'm going to keep at it. Are we sure we want that? You give me to you option?
Okay, so like the ones where the objects were identical, that I was fine with graying out. But
Oops.
I don't want to gray out too much is the thing.
And I'm not saying we need to.
Yeah, so you give it to you, of course, that would be a place where we would use a reflexive in English. No, Jonathan, WW vowel TS. The WW is fine. Wah. Or kind of a geminate. But the epenthetic vowel is only occurring after the two consonants. So yeah, sna, fine. The problem is going to be with mtsa or tsa. Not sure what to do with those. We like the spirit of the poll, of course, was to make all of these monosyllabic, but that may not be a reality that we can work with. I mean, yeah, there would have to be. Where did you think these ah and e's are coming from? Remember the, I mean, I don't know, like the ah being far from the speaker and the e being near the speaker. That's why there are these different forms here.
There, so now
this is yeah, it's easy.
Did you see Minnie's comment?
Hmm.
Out there being the mom of the conlanging world, giving us little notes in our table or in our grammatical bento boxes. Love it.
Also, I think it's probably just worth writing up here. First person, this is just for intransitives. The second person, yeah. Third person. Wow.
And so yeah, those would be intransitive.
Yeah, and you'll notice that some of those will be identical to other forms. So, if taking a first-person object, these would just be the same, whether it's intransitive or having a first-person object. And that's as intended. Okay, So, do we want to look at any of these and say semantically we don't want them? For example, do we want to force reflexives here, where we have the same indirect object as the subject?
It just the only okay, so honestly my problem with this box has more to do with the fact that you are
Jonathan, no, I answered that question several times. Sorry, go ahead.
That you or y'all, right, is going to be the object of the verb. And I'm trying to think of a good verb where we would ever have you or y'all as the direct object in a ditransitive construction, where it would happen enough that it would be something that they would use productively without some other way of saying it.
I put you there.
I don't consider that ditransitive. That's our difference.
It'll be fine for this. But let's leave that one aside. This one's the bigger one. So I give you to me, or I give it to me. Should we force it to be I give it to myself? I give you to myself. And the same thing with, I don't know, you give it to yourself versus you give it to you. In other words, do we want to take them out of this construction and shove them onto reflexives?
What if it's I give it to us?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. No, so you gotta have them. You gotta have them. Okay. Yes. Yes, many of those.
And so the other ones that we blocked out here. So these two over here are blocked out because the subject.
We found them.
Because the object and the indirect object are the same.
Yeah.
And that would be weird, just without it being third person. It'd be weird to say like you gave me to me, or even you gave me to us, or whatever. Like that would be.
Yeah.
That's where the problem is.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to do something really quickly here, and I know you're going to hate it, but I just need to keep track of what's going on in my head. So these would be covered by some sort of reflexive if they're possible.
And yes, Miles, the pronouns are not marked for plurality at all. Plurality is kind of like just separate from all of these. Well, see, Jesse, this is what I was saying. You can just make those different colors. And I asked you, should we make them different colors?
Yes. I will make them different colors. Reflexive will be dark gray. Semantically weird, I'm gonna make it a different color.
All right.
And it's gonna be for David.
Thank you. All right.
Because he's semantically weird.
Okay, so then for this one, it's that one and that one, right?
And then we don't have that going on in third person because
Yeah, you can
the
have.
difference is there. So that's those are all possible.
Okay.
Okay.
So now we have to get to the phonological question, which is what do we do with the ones that don't work? Well, actually, how are these not done yet?
Well, those can be done, yeah.
Yeah, those are easy. So this is going to be
IW, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, where would... Because the vowel that would get inserted would be between the W and TS and not the other way around.
Yeah.
So it would be technically TSWATS, which gets shortened to thwat as it goes through its modern form.
I missed that. Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna type it above because we have two.
Okay. And this one would be sorry. There we go.
Okay. So I've got highlighted above the table where my question was. Above, there we go. And I highlighted it in my pink.
No.
So that. Why would that be?
It's always after the two consonants.
Even when we don't allow initial consonant clusters in this language, did we?
Then how do we do
In the
this
proto
one?
form? I thought that came about from somewhere else.
No. Yeah, no. This is the entire premise behind the monosyllabic method. You have to allow two consonants at the beginning.
Which means it's not in the protoforms, because protoforms don't allow consonant clusters. Therefore, this came about later in the grammar.
Well, they're conglomerations, right?
Yeah.
So it's just you allow it here in the verbs.
Okay. But if that means if it can cluster, it clusters.
Well, yeah, and so the question is, what do we do about the ones that don't very easily cluster? Do we force it, or do we do something different? And that leaves, have we done all of them? Yes. So it leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what's this? 6, 7, 8. 8 boxes that we have to contend with.
That's good, Minnie. And yeah, Cupcake Parade, I give me to me and you give you to you are definitely semantically odd.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they're in. I left them as the reflexive boxes because it's like just because they're possible doesn't mean they would ever get used, but they wouldn't have a verb agreement available anyway because it's reflexive and we're going to do something else with them.
All right, so now we need to start evaluating some of these clusters. And
oh, sorry, did you see Miles' comments? He was asking if sing becoming they and sets becoming they, high tone, could aid in the high central box of TS, Ingma, TS.
No, but you've actually raised an important point that I think that we missed. Shoot.
Nasals change.
I missed it. Thank you, Miles. Okay, so do we have any... This one right here. So W-I Angma becomes W-E Angma. So that's just the way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually that should never have been... Sorry, that should never have been E. I don't know why that was a mistake. But yeah, this one... Okay. Okay, any others? Yep, this one.
But Oz maintain their honest.
Yes. And so it's only this one that has nasal codas.
Oh, up top. This should be way instead of we, right?
Yes. Thank you. That one and this one should be they.
They instead of key.
Okay, so that was a very good catch. And so back to, okay. Yeah, so one thing I didn't want to do, or one thing I really wanted to avoid, Miles, was having this stuff apply cyclically. So in order for what Miles is suggesting to work, so we have the, like, with this one, in order for that to work, this has to be one round of sound changes that finishes. Then you get another round of sound changes that applies afterwards. And that was what I wanted to avoid. And so I think that what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to sacrifice monosyllabicity for some of these. Which is a shame, but I think it's unavoidable. Well, except for this. Do you think, and again, these clusters, they don't exist in roots. They exist because of this combination here, right? Do you think you would accept skna?
As a mouse? No.
I think that we should put this to a vote.
I am very curious.
It will allow for 2 of these boxes to be taken care of. So it would be like skna. Police, that's a second one. So it would be like something like, at one point in time it would be sknats. Sorry, sknats. I'm having trouble.
Exactly.
No. The problem I'm having is with the TS, not with the initial. Skna, skna, skna.
But then it's going to be what? Fna?
No. Yes. Skna.
After all this, we're going to allow a fna?
Skna. Yeah.
Yes, we're going to put this to a vote.
Yeah.
To fna or not to fna?
Fna. So THNGA. I will point out that THN exists in English. Do you know where?
I'm trying to think now. Snow?
A thneed, which is something that everyone needs.
Oh, goodness. Does it really exist in English if it's Susie in English?
We all read it. We don't seem to have problems with it.
But that doesn't mean it's made its way into our language to a point where we threw words that way.
No one will buy that fool thneed, says the Lorax, but he's wrong.
Okay, so... Oh, Dark Horse got it.
Yeah.
And hearts back at you, Caitlin. So, okay. Yeah. Nice cupcake parade. Do you want to put it to a vote to see if...
To thna or not to thna?
Okay. Let me get to where I need to be here. How's this question? Did we fna this up?
Yep.
All right. If you vote yes, you want fna to be possible. If you vote no, you do not want fna to be a possible consonant cluster. Did it make it out to the real world?
I don't know.
There it is.
There it is.
It was a slow go there. We have 26 viewers. I'm going to wait until we get more than 2 votes. Shenanigans. Yes. How bad can that be? That's Noel. Oh my word.
I mean, it will be a part of, mouse ritual marriages where the father says, "I give you to him or her or them," But then, of course, the mother also has to, and then, of course, both sets of parents have to say that as well as their other relatives. But then, of course, those can be vetoed by the couple themselves, who have to give themselves to the other person, one of those other squares. Mm-hmm. Right. And then, of course, it has to be approved by the Regional Board of Alliances.
Would they really view marriage as giving of themselves rather than joining the committee?
That's just for this end of it.
Mm-hmm.
See?
I would just say joining committee.
That's for the other end of it, where it's where, of course, nobody else's votes matter, right? This is why most mice elope.
Well, we have the same number of votes as we do current viewers. I'm ending the poll.
It's too bad Bitleridian wasn't here to
And in case you didn't catch my
to veto.
In case you didn't catch my very dispirited ending of the poll. Exactly, Davide. Yeah. All right.
All we are saying is give not a chance.
I used to like this language. Oh, okay.
And no.
Oh, Bib says, on the contrary, I'm all for it.
Woo!
Wow. Wow.
And Gnacno was his name. Oh.
It's, yes. All right.
Okay, all right. Hold on.
Okay, I'm gonna. We need to. Okay. A little nasal assimilation. I do agree with "na" over "na." Seems better, but.
That is interesting.
Minnie, we can't differ in any way. That's why we're Mega and Mini Me.
I also find that interesting, and I'm willing to put it up to another vote.
"Na" versus "na."
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can do "na." I'm doing it right now. I can do that better than I can do some of the other things that we have going on in this language. So like I'm okay with that. It just "na." I don't know. What do you think? If you did like "na chisu," yeah, oh, the "thna" just rolls off when you add "na chisu." Yeah, it kind of rolls. So sorry, Chris, if we missed your comment earlier. So yeah, I think we need another poll. What do you say, David?
Let's do it. But I do want to know how Bibleridian votes.
All right, so this is, and I'm not. Wait, do we have tone and high?
Oh, Chris. You meant I suggested assimilation, but you didn't notice. And I wondered, like, if assumption was just this magical, like, linguistic thing that I had never heard of.
All right, so which should the final form be?
I'm going to write up this new sound change.
So "thna" would mean we're going to go ahead and assimilate the nasal. "thna" is we're going to keep it velar. Oh, yeah, Chris. that could be interesting. So, I mean, we still need to talk about the W-ingma situation anyway, but yeah, thank you for comment. What?
And so, like,
What just happened? I can't use your mouse. Sorry. We weren't caught up on the chat.
assumption.
Rats do one, we'll see the other, that's good. All right, we almost have the same number of votes and viewers. I'll give our last viewer time to catch up. Maybe we are our own last viewer.
Yeah, I think so.
I think okay, so assimilation wins.
All right.
And I say that as we now have 3 more viewers, but I don't think.
Oh.
Oh wait, 2 more viewers, but 2 viewers couldn't change a 68-32%.
No, I don't think so.
Like that's mathematically impossible.
Yeah.
So assimilation is the way to go.
All right. Just get rid of that. And we'll get rid of this. And now we get to the tough ones.
Can you catch us back up on the little blue arrow of the chat screen? Thank you. Oh, well, Dark Horse was an outstanding vote. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bib. Sorry.
I knew Biblaridian was team me. Ha! What happened here? Oh no, never mind. I know what happened there. Okay. All right. So.
I ruined it, I'm sure.
No. All right. So next. I think everything else violates the sonority hierarchy. Yes. So we have.
So we may have to go 2-syllable.
Yes. So we have glide followed by nasal, and it should be nasal glide for sonority hierarchy. Glide followed by affricate should be affricate glide. Nasal followed by affricate should be affricate nasal.
And thank you, Miles.
And glide followed by affricate.
Mm-hmm. What if they use metathesis to get it in the order that is pronounceable? But only in certain situations.
Oh boy, that's a game changer.
Isn't it?
That would fix all of them.
Let's do some metathesis.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh man. I'm gonna put these in a different color so that we know. Just so that, okay. Metathesis is goofy, so it gets green. Okay, and should be 6, right?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah.
Yeah, actually, Noel's saying, wouldn't metathesis make it mean something different? And yes, it would, but if it's just a phonological process, what can you do? Let's just see what happens. It's in green. If it happens in green, it's safe, okay? We're just going to see what happens.
Safe as in we're just gonna, yeah, we're gonna try this out, and if it doesn't work, then.
sentence. Yeah, yeah. And okay. Okay. So we've ended up with some unique sequences that don't exist anywhere else. All right? So thna with low tone doesn't exist anywhere else, so it couldn't be confused for anything. Thwee, I believe, also does not exist anywhere else, and so could not be confused for anything.
That is correct.
Yes, and same with thnu. So those three are unique. Nga is not. So that would be, they give you to me, but also, oh, you didn't do these. You give me.
And also you give it to me.
Yes, and you give it to me. So this is potentially confusing. And then three is also I give it to them and they give me to them. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
That one though I'm like super unconcerned about because of the two I give it to them is going to be like way more common to the point where they give me to them. That kind of construction is going to be made clear in the rest of the sentence structure somewhere else that this is how you need to interpret this prefix.
Yeah.
Like I don't see a situation where context would not 100% make that clear.
Chris, I totally get that. However, W is also velar, and I would say it's kind of more velar. So I don't think we need to do that. And then no is
So many of the green boxes are the ones that we are considering metathesis for, to make them pronounceable segments.
actually maybe I should probably put this one in there. But as a rare one. No!
Woo, that was red.
It was. Nah! I mean, nah. Alright. Let's see.
Ah.
Okay. No, you. So you give it to them, they give you to them. Anywhere else, you give it. Huh. I'm actually kind of okay with that.
I'm okay with it because in all of these, context is going to be key. It's right now we're considering them all out of context. We still have, like you're still going to be able to specify subject and object arguments. Can't get my words out straight today. In the sentence structure before the verb ever hits, and so that's going to tell you how to interpret this. There's also, extra linguistic context where a lot of times these are just absolutely going to be obvious which one you mean just based on the situation around what's being said. And so I'm okay with overlap. I mean, in the same way that our reduplication at the end of the verb is either going to be pluractionality of the verb or plurality of one of the arguments, which means we're going to have a lot of overlap there. But again, like, so much is going to be dependent on context and like what nouns have been built around the verb that
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to happen.
Yeah. All right. All right. You want to just do it?
And yeah, like Beatrice is saying, right, pronouns can be brought in to clarify.
Yeah, I'm thinking
So,
this
yeah.
would the corporation rather than agreement. So you just, if you have one of these rules in the sentence itself, then you don't have it on the verb. But that was just a thought I had. We haven't gotten there yet.
Say that again, sorry. I was reading a comment.
So like, you gave it to him, right? Would have would have that on there. But you gave it to the bird, would only have this on there.
So if you specify the noun, we would take it out of these tables.
Yes. Though,
Okay.
ironically, for that specific example, the marking is identical.
But then with, let's say it's, I dodged the bird, would we use first person fee and no few?
That is, yes, that is.
That is what you were saying.
That
Okay.
was my idea. It was just an idea though. It's not set in stone yet. We haven't gotten there yet. So.
Okay. Okay, and then Chris,
We don't need free word order for this. It's not
the
gonna be relevant.
labiovelar nasal is not a sound we have in wah, wah. That's not a sound we have here. Everything
Yeah.
else we're doing, they are sounds in the language. We're just assimilating or metathesizing as need be. So that one's not in there, but interesting suggestion.
Yeah. So I think that we are.
Oh, and then, but that is an interesting question. What if it's like the bird sat? Would that mean we would just start with the verb and no subject-verb agreement? And if we went that route, it would just be like bird and then...
Yeah, or it'd be directly incorporated.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And I think.
Oh,
that-
and Davide is asking, what if arguments are incorporated? That's exactly what we're talking about there. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I think we need to celebrate.
Yeah.
We
you're
just
right.
survived something major.
Yes, we did. Oof. All right, man. Can you imagine this is an ice cream flavor?
Although there was an ice cream. What was that ice cream we had the other night?
Which one? The Haagen-Dazs?
The one that was coffee, chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Haagen-Dazs.
That is, I think, as close as I've ever tasted to Kopiko in ice cream form. It was very delicious. In case you haven't noticed, we're ice cream people.
Oh yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
And by the way, Brave Robot, if you're watching, which I assume you are since we mentioned you, you need to do coffee flavor.
Yeah, because right now there's only like 4 flavors, right?
There's a 5th one on their website.
Oh yeah, the birthday cake.
No. That's actually just a cake. The 5th
Oh.
flavor on their website is actually it's like a hazelnut flavor.
Oh,
which is
oh, I would like it.
I bet you would.
And Miles, no, that's not in the table right now. Noun incorporation would be something different in terms of what would happen.
Kopiko. The spice must go. Okay. All right. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, what do we want to tackle next? Reflexives?
I want to tackle this Kopiko. Okay. And just to make it clear, the only thing David has against hazelnuts, as far as I know, is that he's allergic to them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think he would find it also delightfully yummy.
Yeah. No, the first time I had Nutella was when I went to college, Berkeley, And I got to the co-ops, and everybody was like mad for Nutella and was like all like, oh, we all know what this thing is, this thing that I'm just hearing about for the first time. Anyway, so I tried it, and it immediately, like I had a ratatouille moment because it immediately evoked a memory, a sense and experience for me. And what it evoked in me was the experience of eating a very specific cookie. And I'm going to show you this cookie because I have the internet. It's this cookie. This one right here. Wait, there it is. Because, and I contend, this cookie actually has Nutella and not chocolate.
You sure about that?
The flavor is identical. Absolutely identical. And I'm not saying any type of cookie like this one or whatever they're doing. I'm saying this specific one from Keebler has Nutella.
The official website does not have any hazelnuts in the ingredients, therefore there's
Probably
no
not
Nutella.
probably not anymore. I stopped eating these cookies. I'd say the latest I had one of these cookies would have been 1987, maybe 88. But the thing is, whatever they say, I know what I tasted, and that was Nutella.
I think you're wrong. I think it's a combination of the shortbread.
Cookie should be an important word in message. Thank you, Minnie. All right.
However, I found a recipe for Nutella stuffed chocolate cookies. Yes, please.
Yeah, I also found one of these YouTube videos where they make gigantic food, like, and they were making a Snickers bar that was like as big as a cake pan. And it's like, I was like with them, I'm like, oh yeah, Snickers, my favorite candy bar. But then they were like adding Nutella and peanut butter. It's like, that's not a Snickers bar. That's like a peanut butter Snickers or a peanut butter Snickers with Nutella. That's not a Snickers bar. I don't know.
In Grindel, whatever you're testing, I can see the comment. The elves keep their secrets close to their trees. Yes.
They'd rather burn it down than to reveal the ingredients of the stripes.
Apparently.
The stripes must grow.
Okay. You have notifications turned off, right?
I sure do.
Good. Keep going. Let's talk reflexive.
Okay. All right. Is that what you want to do, though? Do you want to move on to reflexives?
Well, yes and no. I also want to have us set up in 30 minutes with a really solid poll idea for our
Right.
patrons. And so I don't know if reflexives is the place to go for poll. I don't know if maybe the poll should be the idea of if it's a fully specified argument, it will not take these agreement forms, it will instead noun incorporation or whatever, like, or if we want to just make that a thing right now. What are you thinking?
I think I have an idea for reflexives.
Let's talk about it.
If we just had another one of these, right? So we have. If we just had, well, I don't know why that's still that. If we had this, I think that solves all our problems. I mean, it wouldn't actually be that. It would probably, come from something like, I don't know.
Minnie is also suggesting copular constructions, which could definitely be something we move in towards at some point. Noelle, I don't know. There's a hyphen in be ready? Ready? I put Nutella on toast and love it. Yeah. Nice smiles. I think my tongue has been untied for right now, Grendel. Thank you.
That's it. I think we actually did this, didn't we?
Don't we have a word for tail?
Didn't we make the word for tail, the reflexive, into pahla? And wasn't it also G?
Oh my gosh, I think you're right.
Oh my goodness. No, did I? Oh man, I cleared the menu.
As you should. Do you want me to open it?
Yeah.
Get down to T. Tail. A lot of details. Oh, to tail. Wrapping the tail.
G.
G.
Reflexive.
Yep, it is indeed. You remembered that correctly. Impressive.
Yeah. Huh.
But I feel like their tails for possums are more important for the sense of self.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Mice, I feel like ear, whisker, nose, any of those, nice little mouse nose there. Any of those I feel are more. So, oh, bye Ragdoll.
Oh. Reapy Cheap is one of my favorite mouses.
You'll get there, Minnie. And I do like the whole false rat idea, Cupcake Parade. We'll just, figure that out.
You know what? Something I want to share, because this I thought it was amazing. I overheard you yesterday. I can't remember if you were on the phone or just talking to somebody else. But you produced spontaneously, picked and choosed.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It's like you were treating the compound itself like a verb, but then there was inflection inside of it anyway. It would be the type of thing where like a linguist with his Maple Leafs hat on would say it should be pick and choosed, but no, it was picked and choosed.
And much better.
Amazing.
Was Ingala? I think you're right.
Oh my god.
I'm pulling it up now.
Here, I got it.
Nina was the word.
Reflexive, yeah. Oh my god.
There's only so many animal parts. So yeah. Oh, Cupcake Parade, good call. Whisker would be more appropriate for cats than mice.
Okay.
I like that.
I just liked nose more than ear because there's two of the ears, you know?
Right. Oh, but Chris is saying, as they move, it's like having their soul in their whiskers. They use their whiskers.
But also, I kind of like this. Let's do nose, and this is why. Because when you go to the animal universe version of the World Lexicon of Grammaticalization, it'll be like nose, often used for reflexive. Example, mouse and rabbit.
Also, in the beginning, they had poor eyesight, right?
I think so.
What would the first thing to come into focus of a mouse coming at you would be the little nose.
Yes.
And so then it would be like, your nose is you until you get close enough that I can see more of you.
By the way, I'm typing something.
Oh, no. Goodness, David.
Kangan, Kanang, Kangan, and Kangang.
No.
And there's 5 of each of them. Okay. But here's what I was thinking. We can just add a row to these and do this very simply. Or add a column. What would I do now?
Knongong. Nice.
Okay.
The oh, I can't even say that. Pentachronology is complete. And Miles is saying, I'll jump on the train and say the first thana. Knongong style. Oh my word. You guys are crazy.
Style. Okay. Interesting. I give it to myself. Oh, this is just all kinds of messed up now. We'll have to rethink these tables.
But I feel like it was a necessary step because, like many, my brain was struggling with having to keep up with what we were saying.
Okay.
Although, to be fair, the reflexives, it would be reflexive only for.
I did this wrong.
Yeah, I was like,
I did
wait.
this wrong. I did this wrong. I'm sorry. I did this
Because
wrong.
I don't think we actually need a reflexive column.
I think we do.
Why not just put it in the gray box that already indicates reflexive? Right?
Just let me figure this out. Let me figure this out. All right. Okay. Hold on a sec. You give yourself to me. I apologize for everything that you just saw. It was okay. Give yourself, and that's still going to be
What? Okay, there we go. I was like, wait, what? There we go. Okay.
And does it change it to nya?
No, because the we have a rule that deletes.
It deletes it after nasals, but is that after it changes it to nya?
Just a second. Because it's going to be Angma JA, or is it ya, or is it the A and then the J?
No, it's just glide fortition. Directly before E and N. Okay, so that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen because it's ah.
But I mean, the protoform that you're suggesting isn't possible unless it's A followed by the glide. And so because of that...
No. It's this is the protoform. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh.
No, that represents a fricative J.
Right, so it's N... Yeah, it's NY, right? It's protoglide.
Right, but what I'm saying is we're not going to have any rules about that because it's until the very end, because that wasn't possible.
Then how were these possible?
2 syllables coming together before the codas were deleted.
Okay.
So it's a coda and an onset.
Got it.
And that's why, like, none of our...
Okay. So it's just...
glides are deleted after...
fronting.
After nasals and approximants. And that's rule 9.
Glide decimation. Okay. Alright. Oh boy, this is going to get tough. And I'm going to show you exactly where. You give yourself to me, so that's fine. But I give myself... Oh, to me? No. I give myself to me?
Yeah, you know what?
That's semantically...
That's what Cupcake Parade was arguing a while back. But, you know, this is what you have to choose to do when you say, I'm going to prioritize what I need to be happy.
So I'm going to give myself to me? But do you think it would be double reflexive?
I give myself to myself.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're going to force these to be reflexive even if it's singular to plural. Like I give myself to us.
No, there should only be one. You only have one nose. Okay, but this is where it gets awkward.
Exactly, Minnie. It's euphemism for self-care.
What happens to this?
A mess.
Yeah, because that's going to become ja.
Which is why if we just inserted the vowel before it...
Then we'd have 2 syllables.
No, we wouldn't, because we'd be able to allow it in the special syllable that we're allowing consonant clusters like fuma to be found in before assimilation, is something that can't be found anywhere else.
Graham, make this a redirect. Oh my god. What is it?
Isn't it LangTime./SC? Yeah, it's LangTime/SC.
Why do we even need the SC?
I don't know, but here's the website. I'm looking at it right here. There we go.
Alright, Graham. What's the SC for?
Sound changer. Oh, thank you, Miles. Yes.
Okay.
You only have one nose. Don't assume.
Boy, it's not going to like this.
No.
That was a proto-consonant though, right?
It is, but it's saying the
Doesn't fit
result can't happen and it stops at the stage where it becomes a je.
Well, this is going to have some on-the-fly sound changes then. Because what this is going to have to become is...
I think it would be cheap.
Cheap.
Oh! we both had the same idea.
Yep. All right. I'm gonna give myself to me. You give yourself to me, and then I give myself
To you.
to you.
And so it would just change tone, and it would be che in low tone.
Yes. And then
Do you want to change the protoform to enigma?
yes.
A question.
I like it. Okay. You give yourself to me.
To
Is
you.
You give yourself to you. My goodness. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
All right. And now. That is going to become
Chi.
Yep.
Because it's an IW, not
Yes.
not an AW.
This one is
To them. Yeah.
but now we need a reflexive table for third person. So they give themselves to X, or they give X to themselves. We need those forms.
Do we? Just a second. Because as of right now, we have no reflexive for
Yeah, that's why we need a separate table.
so I give it to me is toi high tone. Do we need a separate way of saying I gave it to myself?
Yeah, like I kind of thought that we should.
For funsies?
No, I kind of like we should. So it would be fue.
So I gave it to me could only be I gave it to us,
Yes.
because if it were reflexive, then it would be we gave it to ourselves or I
Yeah.
gave it to myself.
Yeah. So how would that table look? Could we do this with one table?
God no. Unless you just want to type out, this is already insane, and what you're suggesting is now we need to take a box from each one because now it's
Yeah. See, that's why I wanted the column. I wanted the extra column.
but we would only need it I gave it to me in second person. Like it doesn't go in the column the way you want it to go. We need an extra 2 more rows over for I give you to myself and I give it to myself. And I give myself to myself if you're really gonna take it that far. But like we need expansion that way, but only for those 2. It won't go in columns, and then you need to add that same 2 to the second row of the next table, but not to the first or the second.
Wait a
to the
minute.
third.
No. Hold on a second. Let me try something here. I mean, it's not gonna be that, but I give it to myself. You give it to yourself.
No, because this doesn't match the rest of the table though, and now this is so confusing. Why would you do
They
it?
give it to themselves. Right?
No,
Okay, but this column should exist somewhere, right?
It needs to be a separate table then, because
It needs to be a separate table.
it doesn't make sense there.
Okay. We're getting there.
And Thomas, the point is, at that point, it would force I give it to me to be a reading of either we give it to me or I give it to us. It cannot be to myself. So like if this is happening.
Okay, is this correct? Subject, object, reflexive?
My brain is broken, and we have 10 minutes left and need a poll, and
I think it is. I think this is correct. So I think this goes here. This gets deleted. We do need a poll, so be thinking of that. And then this would be this would be yay, and this would be way. And then
Miles suggested number base. Dark Horse, same. All the Jesse and David polls will be a special poll. That won't be a weekly poll.
Number base is probably good.
Yeah.
We'll do that. And then these are black. And then this would be you give me to yourself. And they give me to themselves. Yes, so these would now be in play. And they would be you give me to
myself. Yourselves, I mean.
Yeah, you give me to yourselves. And this would be they give me to themselves. And I think that these would both be green. Okay. So this is going to be I, ya, me. And this one is going to be yeah. Weird. And this will mean they give me to themselves.
Yeah, SOV was the word order we had already done.
And then the last table that we will need.
Well, you need to change one box up here. The I give you to myself box, the protoform. Needs a J somewhere.
Thank you. And that needs to be.
As far as number bases go, even. Nice.
There.
And Chris, honestly, it feels verb focused right now, but the nouns are going to be where it's at. Because we're actually not even going to have that many verbs. All of this for not that many verbs.
And then this one should be reflexive, and then to like Right? I give myself to you. Did we already have I give myself to you somewhere?
No.
Yeah,
we
we
have
did.
I give myself to me.
No, I give myself to you.
Oh, yeah. And then we also should then have, I give myself to them. We already have that incorporated.
We already have I give myself to them.
Yeah, go down one. Right there. Gee.
All right.
Because we did the reflexives as the objects. The new table is reflexive indirect objects, which we did not have.
And we already have they give it to themselves. The only thing that we are missing is they give themselves to them. And I think that we can confirm that by just looking for that. Yep. We're lacking that one. Do we also have... Yeah, we don't have they give themselves to anybody.
Right, because we did they and it anytime there's a subject object.
Yeah. So that's just...
What?
So this is just...
So we need reflexive object third person only.
subject, reflexive object, and then different indirect
object. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Holy guacamole.
All right. W, J, T, S, W, J, AMA, and then W, J, W. And that is, oddly enough, yeah, those are all going to be already in existence because of the glide thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Achievement unlocked. Yay, thank goodness. In terms of what options we want to give for number basis, are we just going to surprise our patrons?
Yes.
I like it.
It'll be a gigantic surprise.
You're going to be surprised at what options we give you.
How many little appendages do mice have?
Well, definitely 4 big ones, if we don't want to count fingers. They have 4 fingers and a thumb. Oh, rodents' front feet have 4 toes, while their back feet have 5.
Really?
That's what it says here on a very reliable Waltham Services.
Oh my goodness. Well, that raises the possibility of base 18, doesn't it?
This says, yeah, rat 4 feet have 4 toes, hind feet have 5 toes. But they do have a thumb up front, from what I can understand. So there's a hand paw, there's a little thumb, but then their toes are just 5 toes. That kind of looks the same though. Oh no, wait, there's only 4 there.
Oh my gosh, can anybody confirm?
Look.
Oh, there they are.
4 and 5.
Now that's a rat. Are mice the same?
Look at that, 4.
Wow. It's like we're looking at base 8 or base 18. They're so darling. They have like that little vestigial...
They do, which But there's definitely like what you see when you're looking at the front is 4. And then on the back you do see.
They'll have to grow a thumb. Is that what we were saying? Or one of these, well, Yeah, we'll put up something interesting, don't worry. And tail for base 19, oh my lord.
Aye.
Yeah.
Alright. Didn't we already do like, oh wait, no, it was base 30 that we did.
Yeah.
Good lord, that's not happening again.
That will not happen again.
Alright, so you will be surprised by what goes up. Thank you for sticking with us as we figured out this very complex system. I'm so happy that it's monosyllabic, but oh my word, what did we just do to ourselves? I'm never going to want to translate anything with pronouns. And yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And thank you, and we will see you next week. Between now and then, patrons, LangTime Chat new episode will be dropping on November 1st. And we hope you enjoy it.
Bye,
It's
everybody.
a good one. Stay grammar.